Hello, peoples of the internet. I'm going to talk about grief and grieving today. And I'm going to talk about it because it's actually one of the collective healings that's coming up in this time period. And you're going to hear panting and sounds because Evie's in the room with me. She's actually my therapy dog. So she comes and does therapy with me. And so she likes to hold loving space when I'm doing energy work typically. So she's over here holding love and space and breathing deeply. I actually have Roscoe in the room today too, and that is our neighbor's dog actually, and he also loves to hold loving space. So we have some good dog energy in the room, and we might need that as we talk about deep topics like grieving. So like I was mentioning, grieving is actually coming up collectively in this time period. There's a lot of people about a month ago started to tell me that they're feeling out of the blue really sad, and that they were tearing up a bunch, and that they weren't even sure, why they were so sad or why they were grieving. And since I found this piece of information that I'm going to share today, I also have had bouts on and off of the grieving feelings. And so I just believe collectively in this time period, we are grieving and clearing and letting go of, all different kinds of things. It depends on what you've been working on so far. And then there's also collective grieving that's happening in this time period. And so for me specifically, I was wondering how old my dog was. And when I was contemplating on her age, I started to go through my images, my pictures. And as I was going through my pictures, I was thinking to myself, what have I done for the past 5 years? What have I been doing? What have I been up to? And I was trying to use points of time and what I've been doing and things like that. And it was I couldn't really contemplate what I've been up to. And so as I was going through the pictures, I was just fast forwarding through them. So they would land on a picture, and I'd fast forward, it'd land on another picture, fast forward, land on another picture. And as it was doing that, it was showing me, what kept coming up for me was sunsets, and then forests, and then my children, and then my pets, and then again sunsets, and again my pets, and again the forest. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. And I thought to myself, well, that's obviously what I've been doing for the past 5 years. These are the things that have been important to me. And as I was thinking about that, I was also thinking to myself, okay, but why am I feeling so sad? And I'm like, okay, that's strange. Why am I feeling so sad about this? Because usually when you're sad, it means that you've lost something. And as I was holding that space of the sadness, the God Source was reminding me of a healing that we collectively were just doing prior to this, which I might have to bring up in here actually to be able to clear this too. It's a mode of functioning where specifically the feminines have been taught that it's their job to take care of everybody else around them. And when we're taking care of everyone else, we're doing it to the detriment of ourselves. And so we're focusing on everybody else to the detriment of ourselves. And we were taught since forever that that's what a mom's job is, or that's what a woman's job is to do. And that's the feminine job, is to tend to take care of everybody else and make sure everybody's okay. And you're going to really see this in the HSPs, which is highly sensitive people, and empaths and vulnerables. So that collective is the collective that basically, has been connected to their hearts all through time, and have been able to feel. So our job was actually to take on the feelings of others so that the others didn't have to feel. And that was that codependent way of existing, where it was part of our familial dynamics or toxic dynamics. And so it was the empath's job to take on the pain spaces, to take on the sadness, to take on the anger, to take on all of the feelings that other people didn't want to feel. And the empath generally did that by personalizing. So they'd be like, oh, this is mine. This is my fault. I did this. And then when it was personalized, they would take it on from the other out of love for the other. So we prioritized what the other needed, and we did it out of love for them. And we bypassed, what do I need? And is this loving to me? And so the God Source has been teaching us over time how to not take on other people's stuff, and how to put your own self first, and how to tend to your own self first, which means slowing down, loving yourself into wholeness, giving yourself love even there, which is called alchemizing the feelings, and then feeling safe, alchemizing it in the moment instead of personalizing it, taking it on and then holding it in your body like we used to. And so when we would take care of everybody else all the time, we would be giving our life force frequency. Where you focus is where your life force frequency goes. And so we were literally giving our life force frequency away to everybody around us. We have to make sure they're okay. Are they okay? Are they okay? And you're hyper focusing on everybody else's okayness, which another word for that is people pleasing. And in that mode of functioning, the God Source said to me, are they asking you to do that for them? Are they asking you to caretake them and do everything for them? No. Do they even know you're doing it? No. Do you even know you're doing it? No. It's an unconscious pattern. And are they appreciative? Are they gratuitous? Are they saying thank you? No. Okay, then why the heck are you doing it? Number one, it's not your job. And not only is it not your job, it's an impossible task. It's not even a possibility. Humans can't even do that. We're trying to control the external realm to feel safe inside. And we're taking on things from the external realm to feel so that they can feel safe inside, and altering ourselves so they can feel safe inside. But nobody's really feeling safe inside. We're all bypassing, loving ourselves into wholeness and giving ourselves safety. And so in this time period, the God Source is asking us, stop it. It said we need to take back our life force frequency. We need to pull it all back into ourselves, and we need to use that energy to begin to, number one, discern where it's appropriate to spend your life force frequency and where it's not appropriate for you to spend your life force frequency. Do I want to spend my life force frequency here? And what it told me about life force frequency is that it is limited. You come in with a battery of life force frequency. We have a limited amount. We have a lifetime of life force frequency. It's a limited resource. So it's actually your most valuable resource. So do you want to spend all your life force frequency, your most valuable resource, on taking care of people outside of you that don't even know you're doing it, aren't thankful for it, and you're not even doing what you think you're doing because you can't control the outside world? Do you want to spend your most valuable resource on stressing and freaking out and worrying all the time? When you worry, you're not actually doing anything productive for you or other people. You're just burning your life force frequency, your most valuable asset. And I could be saving that and using it for things that actually matter, like spending loving time with my friends, or taking care of my dog, or going for a walk, or doing some beadwork, whatever the heck it is that you love doing. And so we want to be very careful and discerning of our life force frequency, which means we need to clear that program. That's a program that we've been existing within. So what the God Source was telling me about grief in regards to this program is that when I look back over my last 5 years and I can't really remember them, well, the reason I can't remember them is I was so busy trying to take care of everybody else all the time. I wasn't present to myself, to my experiences. And the God Source says you can tell because you're not in a state of joy. And when you're enjoying yourself, you're a lot more likely to be in presence, and you're a lot more likely to remember your experiences. And this has been something that's been really important to me for a lot of years. So when my children were really young, I remember when I was a young mom and I was thinking, like, I can't wait till my child's 5, because when she's 5, she'll be able to help out around the house more often. And when she got to be 5, I was like, oh my God, she's 5 now. And what happened to those years? I don't even remember those years, because I was in a massive dysregulated state most of the time. I was in perfectionism, trying to make sure that everybody was tended to all the time and everybody was okay and that I was going to be a good mom. And we do that because we're afraid of failure. That's a fear program to failure. And I take back my power from failure. I know failure. You're not doing this to me. No perfectionism. And the God Source reminded me, perfectionism's not even real. It doesn't even happen here. It's an impossibility. And humans are always learning. They're always shifting. Humans err, humans trip and fall, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's okay. It's okay to err. It's okay to trip and fall, it's part of the way of existing, right? It's okay that I yelled at my kid that time and then I learned not to yell at my kid again. There is no perfection. There's learning. And if I'm feeding perfection, which is a false illusion, what am I actually feeding? You're feeding the darkness. That's what you're feeding. You're feeding the shadow realm, right? I like to call it God's original pain space, which is another piece of information that I'll have to bring back in. But that's what you're feeding. What you're not feeding is your own soul. What you're not feeding is your human body. You're not feeding calm and relaxation and peace and the right to enjoy what you're inside of and just relaxing into it, right? So as we collapse that original program and I look back over these years and I think, what was I grieving? I was grieving being present. I was grieving presence and not remembering. And that was a big old punch. Ouch. So as I was getting that punch, I was thinking to myself, and God said to me, Lisa, what can bring you joy here? Even right here, when you're getting the punch, you can find joy even here. Number 1, alchemize and love yourself even here. You're safe even here. And it's good to get a punch. When you get these punches from the universe, from your higher self, from the God Source, it means you're shifting. It means you're changing. It means you're learning. And I'd rather have the punch and then get conscious and then be able to alter myself. And so I'm going to love myself and I'm going to be proud of myself that I was able to hear that thing and get the shift, because that allows me to change into the future. And that was the part where I could find the joy. When I step back from this, how can I find joy here? Well, I'm still alive. I can still change things. I can make the shifts and changes. I can begin to let go of that program of taking care of everyone else, of not being in my center of self, of not being in a state of calm, of trying to be perfect all the time, thinking that perfection is safety. Perfection's not safety, it's distraction. What's safe is loving myself into wholeness. That's what's going to give me safety. So I don't have to be the perfect mother. I don't have to have the perfect conversation. I don't have to be the perfect therapist. I don't have to be the perfect YouTuber. Thank God. So, grief. Coming back to the grief. So when we grieve these spaces, it's important to grieve. Grief is an important emotion. Now, as humans, we don't tend to like to go into the space of grief because it's heartache, heartbreak. And we've been taught as humans, don't grieve. We've been taught, distract from grief. And that's how most humans are. They distract from the grief, especially because collectively in our society, people are like, oh, what, you're still grieving? It's been a week. Yeah, my husband just died. I'm not going to be over that in a week. It's going to take me a lot longer than a week. It's taken me longer than 10 years. People in our society don't like the experience of grief. They don't like to see other people grieving. It makes them uncomfortable. And the reason they get uncomfortable is because they don't know how to regulate themselves. They don't know how to love that space inside themselves. They feel like they're doing the same thing. They're feeling like it's their job to fix the other person. And they say, oh, it's going to be fine. Oh, you're okay. Oh, everything's fine. No, everything's not fine. I'm sad as hell. I've never been so sad. I'm heartbroken. I can't even eat. I can't even breathe. And then that person, the person that they said it to, feels like they have to people please that person and like, okay, yeah, it's fine, and put on a mask that it's fine and feel unseen, unheard, unvalidated. Feel like they can't have the pain. And what the God Source told me about grief is a natural part of the journey. Grief happens here. And if you try to bypass that grief, it's like you're on a pathway. You're going to try to go around it. You're just going to tuck that into the body. You're going to tuck it away for another time, or just, be stoic. Don't think about it. Okay, wherever you tuck that is going to get a sickness. So if you tuck that into your lungs, you're going to have asthma. If you tuck that into your shoulder, you're going to have a frozen shoulder. If you tuck that into your head, you're going to have migraines. If you tuck that into your hip, you're going to have hip problems, into your knee problems, into your ankle problems, into your spine problems. Where we tuck it, and we're tucking it away, we're tucking it into our bodies. And the God Source gave me a visual some 5-6 years ago about where when humans don't deal with emotions in that moment, and that's fear, panic, terror, grief, sadness, anxiety, overwhelm. The difficult emotions, right? The ones that are very intense, right? And when we tuck that away, it's like we tuck it into this spider back. It showed me this like spider back. Ooh. And I was like, ooh. Yeah, what do you think happens to your body when you have a spider back full of pain? Right? Spine, hips, knee, right? Your neck. The body pays the price. And because we're living up in the masculine, up in the head, and we're disconnected from our bodies, we don't even notice. We just attack the body. Stupid neck, stupid shoulder. You did that. Your mind did that to your body. And your body's loving you by holding it for you. And you're not listening to your body. And if you listen to your body might show you what's in there. And when it showed you what was in there, it might be able to move beyond. It might be able to remove itself. That's where you alchemize that space. Alchemize it back to dust. It disappears. It moves on. Right. So it's really important that we don't tuck this away, especially grief. That's intense and it's huge. And you can go past it on the path, but guess what? The next time someone dies, or the next time a pet dies, or the next time you have a loss, you lose a job, you lose a relationship, it doesn't really matter what kind of loss it is. It's going to be magnified. It's going to be doubly intense because you didn't release the first one. You didn't give yourself the opportunity to walk that part of your path. And the reason we didn't, it's not our fault. It's because we didn't know how to be with ourselves. Remember that little feminine inside of us? She was crying and sad because we've neglected her so hard she barely even exists. That's the part of us that loves ourself into wholeness. That's the part of us that slows down and gives ourselves compassion. That's the part that says it's okay that you're grieving. It's normal to grieve. Humans grieve when they lose something. You have a right to grieve. It's part of the human experience. It's a natural part of a pathway. It's okay to grieve. And when we begin to say to ourselves, it's okay to grieve, when we hold loving space for ourselves in our own grief, when we give ourselves permissions to grieve, when we recognize that not grieving is part of the slavery matrix. It keeps you broken. It keeps you depending on the outside world. You're going to use the toxic distractions. And toxic distractions cost money usually. And then you put more money into the production matrix. Right? It could be anything. It could be drugs and alcohol. Right? It could be sex. It could be porn. It could be TV. Right? It could be shopping. It could be cigarettes. Right? There's lots of toxic distractions in our world. It could be candy, sugar, sweets. It could be gambling. Right? Those toxic distractions, you need more and more and more of it to cover up that wound space because you're not clearing the wound. Right? You're not facing the grief. And the grief is telling you something. It's saying you lost something. Right? And I had a client that was telling me recently that she was grieving like all these things in her past she didn't do. So I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Why didn't I do it? My life would be better. I don't like my life. Right? Those are important pieces of information. That's really important because guess what? You're not dead. You can do it. You can still do it. You can make the changes. If you're grieving not having done those things, and that's telling you want to do those things, and then you can ask yourself today, do I still want to do those things today? Because that also changes. Over time, what we want and what we need changes. Maybe you just have to grieve that you didn't do it, and then when you ask yourself today, do I still want that today? You're like, oh, wait a minute. No, I actually don't care about that anymore. Oh, okay, well, if I don't care about that, what do I care about? And what can I start to do today? So that 5 years from now, when I look back at this time, I can be like, I heard the message and I changed it. And today I'm doing this awesome, fabulous, amazing thing. I took the steps and I did it. Right? Just like me. I'm going to take the steps, love myself in the wholeness, try to remain in a state of joy and calm and not control everything around me, reserve my life force frequency for tending to my own self and for alchemizing perfection as safety, which is power program. I'm saying if I'm not perfect, I'm not safe. Fuck you, perfection. No, I'm not doing that. I take back my power from that. And I collapse that program back to dust because being perfect never made me safe. It made me tired. It made me fatigued. And I wasn't even perfect. And I never even saw myself as perfect. You know, I tried to be perfect and thought I still have 40% to go, right? There's never an end to that bar. We just raise the bar higher and higher. It's an addiction. It's an addiction to perfection. No, I'm not going to waste my energy on that anymore. My life force frequency is limited. I'm not going to waste my energy on that. It's valuable because it's a limited resource. It's valuable. Your life force frequency is valuable. It makes you valuable. That's why you're so valuable. You're extremely valuable. You have a limited resource of life force frequency where you can do all kinds of magical things on this earth plane. You can create all kinds of magical things. You can have all these fun experiences. You can spend time and laugh and have joy. You can do all kinds of things. What do I want to spend my life force frequency on? Right? Do I want to spend it on work until I die and breaking my body down and ignoring my body so I get more and more money and then I use the toxic distractions and spend? When you get to the end of your life, you're not going to be like, did I spend enough money? Did I work hard enough? You're going to be like, did I fully enjoy this existence? Did I smell the flowers enough? Did I spend enough time with my kids, my family, my loved ones? Did I do enough painting? Maybe, Did I tend to the garden enough? Did I see enough birds? It's the beautiful things of this existence. It's the natural kingdom. It's your buddies out there, you and your buddies. That's what you're going to ask. So what do I want to spend my life force frequency on? It's valuable. I'm valuable. I have a right to exist. God gave me a right to exist. As soon as I was born, I had a right to exist. The God source chose to create me here. And did it come through a mother who also chose to create me? Sure. But sometimes mothers don't choose to create you, and they have you anyways. Why? Because the God source brought you in here, right? You were part of the unfolding. You were always going to happen, right? Once you come in here, you belong everywhere. You're a part of the universe. You're part of nature. Humans don't give you belonging. That's another one. Humans don't give you belonging. You inherently belong once you're born. You got the magic ticket. You got in here. You belong. You belong everywhere. You're a part of nature. You belong everywhere. And as humans, we're looking around. Can I belong here? Can I belong here? I don't belong here. I don't belong there. And it causes us victimization. We feel sad and betrayed and abandoned and neglected. But that's because we're doing it to ourselves. You're not loving yourself into wholeness. I'm safe even here. I'm whole even here. I belong even where people don't think I belong. I belong there too. I belong everywhere. I don't need that from another human. I need that for myself. And we might grieve not giving belonging to ourselves far earlier, where we would have just felt good and done a lot more things that we didn't do in our lives. Well, then I need to grieve that. It's okay to feel sad. That's a loss. It's okay to grieve. Grieving's a natural part of the pathway. And if I let myself walk down that part of the pathway, it disintegrates and I leave it behind. If I bypass that part of the pathway, it's going to come with me and it's going to be even stronger into the future. Every time I have a loss, it's going to come up and it's going to ask to get healed. And the earlier stuff is going to ask to get healed. And if we don't know how to love ourselves in our pain, we're going to tuck it into the spider back and you're going to have a bigger and bigger spider back. And when you get buried in the earth, your spider back gets buried in the earth because your soul crosses, and it doesn't bring the pain with it because that was a part of this human. That was a part of this human experience, right? It goes into the earth with the human, right? And the earth then has to hold your pain, right? It's irresponsible, right? That's why a lot of energy healers have to heal the earth a lot of the time, because there's a lot of pain spaces on the earth that weren't tended to at the time. There wasn't love there, and so there's spaces that still need healing. And that's part of our loving nature, is to try to heal things if we feel things. And you have to feel it to heal it, is the saying, right? Once you feel it, you access it. Once you access it, you can clear it. How do I clear all that pain? You hold yourself there. You have compassion for yourself there. You say, I love myself even here. It's okay that I have pain. It's okay that I'm getting this messaging. It's okay that it's showing me something. And I'm not perfect. So yeah, I didn't do some things. Well, I'm not perfect. I probably didn't have the time. I was probably focusing on something else. And that's another lesson that came in at one point in time. Just like children, when they're learning, they focus on multiple things. So they call it like the top 5 or whatever, right? So you might be focusing on small muscle movements, right? Or you might be focusing on big muscle movements. So writing with a pen or jumping is a big muscle movement. Or you might be vocab, right? Whatever it is that the child's learning, they usually learn one thing at a time. They focus on one thing at a time. So in our lives, we're usually focusing on one thing at a time. So if you didn't do the other 5 things, it's because you were focusing on that one thing. And that's normal. That's natural here. That's how humans are created. That's what we do. And that's fine. It's okay. You're okay. You're all right. You're going to be okay. That guardian angel in your belly loves you even here. She loves you through anything you go through. I say she because it's a feminine energy of compassion and love, but it's probably a non-gendered being. Just like the God source itself is a non-gendered being. Okay, so grief. So we need to grieve and let go of these things. We need to face them. We need to let them come up so that we can see what they're showing us. And when we see what they're showing us, so they might, if you've lost a person, they might be showing you loved someone. You loved someone. And that's good. That's awesome. That's amazing that you love someone. Humans are here to love. That's part of the human experience. That's why all these souls want to come in here, because you get to love. You get to love the dog, you get to love a tree, you get to love humans, you get to love the earth herself, whom I love, you get to love sunsets, you get to love Sundays, you get to love literal food Sundays, ice cream, whatever it is, we get to love all kinds of things. And it's good to love. Our heart stretches when we love. And when someone dies, that means someone we loved is no longer on this plane of existence, and that hurts. That hurts because they're no longer here to do those things with you that they did before. You don't have those memories to share together. You don't have someone to call on the phone. You know, you don't have someone to spend your evenings with, right? You don't have someone to help you around the house, right? You don't have this person around you anymore, so you're grieving the emptiness, and there's an emptiness there. It's like we have all these empty places now. And after we grieve, because grieving takes time, that part of our pathway takes time, and over time we'll fill up those spaces with other things, other people, other experiences. But the person who's freshly grieving doesn't want to hear that shit. They want to hear, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to be sad. Eventually you'll fill up those spaces, but you aren't right now. You're sad right now, and that's okay. That's okay. Love yourself even there. You're whole even there. And when we begin to love ourselves in our own grief and give ourselves permissions to grieve and to be in the space of grief and to feel those intense emotions, then we start to be able to handle other people's spaces of grief without feeling like we have to fix, save, and heal it. Because again, no matter of things that you try to do for them to try to stop their pain, you're not going to stop their pain. You're just actually hurting someone by trying to stop their pain. You know that all you have to do is hold loving space for them. It's okay that you're grieving. I love you even here. Just like it's okay that I'm grieving. I love myself even here. It's okay that you're grieving. I love you even here. It's okay that you're grieving. You're going to find your way through this. Can I just sit here with you? Or do you want to do it alone? What do you need from me? And if you don't need anything, that's okay. And if you don't know what you need, that's okay. Because sometimes when we're grieving, our brains aren't thinking properly. We can't think of anything except for the pain is so severe that you can't think of anything but the pain. And that's okay. We need more care there. We need more love there, more acceptance, more validation of our own self first. And then secondarily of the other, right? God, get out of bed. It's been a week. What? Bro, it takes a lot longer to grieve these spaces. It's going to take a lot longer to feel my way through this. And we're going to give ourselves compassion along the way. And it's not bad to be like, hey, do you want to go for a walk? It'd be great to get outside. Because oftentimes when people do get outside, they feel a lot better. So soft encouragement's good. It gets people moving sometimes. And that's okay too. But we need to learn to hold this space of grief because it's a natural human experience. It has a right to exist. We have to slow down and regulate ourselves and love ourselves in this space. We have to walk that part of the journey. We have to walk that part of the path, and it's okay to be there, and we're going to figure it out. And if we aren't figuring it out yet, that's okay. What's that saying? Something around the lines of it's all okay in the end. If you're not okay, it's not the end. And that's true. And different people take different times to love themselves through the experience, and to give enough love to their hearts that they're willing to open their hearts to new experiences again. And it takes time to fill up those spaces. So each time you come upon a new space where that person would have been there, you feel that pain again. And it's like, oh, well, aren't I done this pain? No, this is a new space. This is a new situation. No, now you got to feel it again. And it's okay that I'm feeling it here. It just means I lost something here, and I'm noticing I lost something, and it's okay. And I can feel sad. And then accompany yourself there and give yourself compassion there, and know that over time you're going to fill in this space, but so far you haven't, and that's okay too. And sometimes it's future thinking that we're grieving. So you think, well, we were gonna go on this trip together, or we were gonna go to this wedding, or oh my God, he's not going to be at my wedding, if it was a father or something like that. Then we have to hold that loving space and grieve that thing. There's a hole. There's a hole there. There's something that you haven't filled up yet. There's an experience you haven't gone through. And you'll go through that experience. You'll find a way to fill up that hole. You're just not there yet. And that's okay. And it's okay to feel. And it's okay to heal. And you want to alchemize your own pain by companioning yourself. And it doesn't mean the sadness is going to go away. It just means you're going to have love in the sadness. Love in the shocks. Love in the disbelief. Love in the perfection. Love in the anxiety. Love in the frustration. I love myself even here. It's okay. It's all right. I'm okay. I'm all right. And then you're going to access creativity. So because we're in a cycle right now of clearing that old snake skin, the dead skin's coming off, some of that is going to make us look back at things in the past, 5-10 years. And we're going to be saying, oh, I didn't do this thing, or I wanted to do this thing and I hadn't done this thing. You might also be grieving literal loved ones. In the past 1 to 2 years, there's been a big death portal open, and there's been a lot of people and pets crossing. There's a lot of people exiting because they're not coming into the new freedom future. They did their part. They didn't sign up for this next part. They signed up for the first part, which was the slavery matrix, right? So there's been a lot of people exiting. So there's been a lot of grieving. There's a lot of changes happening right now, including when some of this big information's coming out, like this Epstein stuff, which a lot of us actually already knew about, 5-8 years ago, and talked about, and people said those are conspiracies. That's fake. That's false. People just shutting us down because they didn't want to hold the space of it, because it's terrifying. It's disgusting. It's horrifying. Those typically aren't feelings we want to feel. But again, we need to hold space for those feelings. I'm safe even when I'm horrified. I'm safe even when I'm disgusted. I'm safe even when I'm seeing things that I didn't know existed, that I wish didn't exist on the earth plane. And I quantum forgive that happens on the earth plane. And I quantum forgive that I'm in a time period that we're seeing these things. And I quantum forgive that this happened to those women and children and boys and men. Because I'm going to put them in there too, because it happened to them too. I quantum forgive it. I quantum forgive that this happens, and it doesn't take away my anger and my rage. And it's okay that I'm feeling anger and rage. We should feel anger and rage, right? As these things come out, we should feel mother rage. That's the sacred mother. The sacred mother feels anger and rage, and she says, no more. Not in my world, not in my existence, not in my reality. No, we're not doing these things. Hell no. And as we face these spaces, our belief system about this world is changing. where we thought we were, what this world is, who we thought we were as a human species. We're grieving who we thought we were. We're grieving what we thought this world was. We're grieving that we thought that it was safer than it is out there. You know, we're grieving all of the pain and suffering we're seeing in these people, especially as empaths and sensitives. And a whole bunch of us actually have, you know, physical and sexual abuse histories, psychological abuse histories, you know, financial abuse histories. We have abuse histories, and it's triggering that original pain that we never healed. And so, yeah, we're grieving. We're grieving a whole bunch as a human species, and it's okay to face the space. I'm safe even here. I'm whole even here. I'm a human having a human experience, and humans feel these things. And it's normal and natural to feel these things, and it's okay to feel. Because if we don't feel, we're robots. If we don't feel, we're zoned out, we're dissociated, we're numbed out. And that's not a human experience. A human experience is feeling. And we came here, we're in this human body to have a human experience. We're the God source inside of us having a human experience. And my job is to have a human experience, right? And I have to feel to have a human experience. And it's okay to feel. And the medicine's inside of me. The love is inside of me. I love myself into wholeness. I give me safety. Even when the world's unsafe, I'm safe because I have love inside of me. And I give myself the safety from within, which allows me to get creative. And when I get creative, including discerning of our life force frequency. Am I going to give all my life force frequency to raging out at this thing? No, I'm going to alchemize that, and then I'm going to say no more, and I'm going to make choices so that I'm not feeding into that system. And then I'm going to use my life force frequency to create beautiful things in front of me, like fun in my garden and good times with my children and I don't know, walks in the forest, you know what I mean? Times with my dog. And does that stop these things from happening? No. But are you the one doing the things? No. Then why are you paying the price? The stress, the anxiety, the rage, the anger, your body is paying the price. Right? It's not even your job to change it. It's their job to change it. It's that disconnected human over there doing horrifying things because they're literally channeling shadow dark energy, the pain spaces of God that you can also call, you know, demons through them. Because I can tell you I'm connected to the God source. The God source never tells me to do that fucked up shit. And if it did, I would have a passing thought of that because we are free will beings, and I might have a passing thought of that. And I'd be like, hell no. I'm not doing that. That's insane. They too have free will. And they too could be like, hell no, that's insane. But instead they're gathering in the shadow and promoting each other and normalizing this shit and feeding off of it. Like they're gods. They're trying to get more and more power and control. And we're not here to be gods. We're here to channel the God source through us. And to be in alignment with nature and all else. And you don't do that shit if you're in alignment with nature. That's fucked up. And I swear sometimes that's part of me. I'm you know, I'm a big feeler, you know, and it's part of me feeling. And I'm not going to swear at you. I'm just impacting. And if my swears are affecting you, just alchemize that out of you. Right. I already passed it with the God source. The God source doesn't care if we swear. No, literally, it's just another human experience. You know, people swear. It's just part of communications. They're just words, right? My intent is what matters. And I'm intending healing and impact and no. Strong mother, no. Sacred mother, no. We say no because we love them. So I'm going to clear all of this because I see I'm getting to my time span. So I'm going to clear all of these old modes of functioning, these old ways of existing, these belief systems around grief, around human emotions, around dysregulating, around not holding loving space for our own selves when we're hurting, and then not holding loving space for others when they're hurting, and unconsciously telling people not to feel and telling people they should just be over it and buck up. That's the slavery matrix. Rub some dirt on it, get over it, buck up, keep that giant spider back and get back to work. Work, work, work. Disconnect from yourself. Ew, gross, disgusting. No, thank you. We're done that now. We choose to be free. We choose to be fully human. We choose to love ourselves into wholeness. We choose to access that feminine, because it's that feminine, strong mother that's going to say no. No to the abuse. No to the violations. No to feeding that toxic system. No to toxic mothering it. Oh, poor them. You know, they had a bad history. Oh, just let it go. It's not a big deal. And no, hard no, ain't happening here. I can say no, I can walk away, I can have boundaries, I can create a new world. We're not doing that anymore. We're done. No. So Source God Mother, I acknowledge and accept everything that we're speaking of so far today, and I clear, cleanse, and heal all of these old modes of functioning, these old ways of existing, these mindsets, these pain spaces, and particularly those pain spaces that have collected in our spider backs, in our mind, body, spirits, and souls, recognizing that holding pain or tucking it away or being stoic and not actually feeling your way through it and alchemizing it with your own love, with your own compassion, with slowing down and giving yourself safety, is an old mode of functioning and an old way of existing that I'm no longer taking part in. And only I can clear these programs from my mind, body, spirit, and soul, and those pain spaces. And anything that's connected to those pain spaces. So old modes of functioning, old ways of holding pain in the body. And different bodies hold pain differently. So some people get arthritis, some people get asthma, some people get migraines, some people get bone and back issues. And I don't want that, God. That's my body, and I love it, and I deserve a healthy body, and I deserve to clear the pain, and the Mother Earth deserves for me to clear the pain so that I'm not being buried with a bunch of pain. You know, I don't want it. It's all that mail that I tucked away that I never read, and I have to read the mail to know what the heck is happening. What's happening inside of me? Who am I? And I want to know that. I want those answers. So please clear, cleanse, heal, neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize those old programs, patterns, modes of functioning, ways of existing, trigger points, mindsets, frozen pain bodies, pain spaces, ways of holding sickness that was done by all the generations. That's why different people hold pain different ways, because that's how the generations before us held pain. And that's why they'll say that, you know, no, it's genetic. No, these things are genetic. And these things aren't genetic. These are the ways we held pain in our genetic lineages. In our lineages, that's how they held pain, and that's how we're holding pain. And that's why it travels on, because as we hold pain, we get the sickness. And I don't want to do that. I'm done that now. That's an old way of existing, and I'm done it. And I clear, cleanse, neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize it past the DNA and RNA and into the God space of first creation. I release programs. I release contracts, binds, barriers. I release connections to those old modes of functioning, those old ways of existing. I release judgments. I release anchors. I take back my right to loving myself in those spaces, and I give myself love in all those spaces. The medicine was always inside. And I can access these spaces from today. And I can love myself starting from today. And I can learn to begin to be different. So 5 years from now, I can look back and I'd be like, oh, isn't that amazing how I loved myself in all those spaces? How I let myself feel, how I let myself release that suffering. And how when I did that, holy smokes, I got so healthy. My body's been so much healthier. I haven't had the aches and the pains and the sicknesses. I have so much more energy because all your energy hasn't been used holding a pain, a spider back. Ugh. No, thank you. We're done that now. And we clear, cleanse, and heal it past the DNA and RNA and into the God space of first creation, disintegrating the old DNA and RNA back to dust and initiating the new for each unique blueprint and reconfiguring for each unique blueprint. We clear, cleanse, and heal all drama, karma, trauma, pull out the dharma, neutralize, purify, clear, cleanse, and heal from the cellular, energetic, and magnetic structures and from the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious minds, pulling all of that through to oneness, to wholeness, to peace, to truth, to love. Welcoming those helper frequencies and helper beings into these spaces to continue to love us in these spaces, to continue to help us to stretch out to these spaces of existing, clearing the discomfort of stretching into these spaces so that I can stretch out here and get to know who am I? What do I need? What do I feel? What kind of messages am I getting from this? Because one thing you're going to see if you grieve hard, I'm a lover. I'm very compassionate. I love hard. And you have a right to love hard and to continue to love hard. But if you've never healed those grief spaces, you're going to be scared to love hard because you're going to be scared of the pain of a loss. And you're not going to take those, what we call risks, but it's not a risk. It's an experience. You're not going to have those experiences. You're barriering experiences. And what you're not doing is walking forward freely. And that's freedom. That's you taking back your power and being free to have the experiences that you came here to have. And you're preventing yourself from having those experiences. And that's not safety. That's illusion and delusion of safety. So I clear that and I grieve that and I let myself grieve. It's okay. And I quantum forgive that I didn't know any better. I release through the children and up through the ancestral webs, past lifetimes and their webs, and for the collective universal who are open to it at this time, including all planetary systems and on all sides of the veil. I also release through this universe and through the multiverses. And I quantum forgive that this happens to humans, that loss happens to humans, that grieving happens to humans, that we forgot to love ourselves in these spaces, that we've been holding all these pain spaces in the body, that we've been bypassing our right to feel, that we've been dysregulating, that we dysregulated ourselves, that we dysregulated around other people, that we weren't allowing them to go through it, that people made me feel like I wasn't allowed to go through it. And what a circle of madness. And I forgive that. I quantum forgive it. And I purify back to the God Source origins, welcoming those healed helpers, those beings of light, those doctors, healers, and nurses in all realms of existence to continue to purify and alchemize these spaces and drop me into those original blueprints, those original codes, and to continue these healings until completed. And I give so much gratitude and thankfulness to those helper beings and helper frequencies that are here with us, helping us, guiding us, loving us, nudging us, bringing us the messages. You're seeing feathers from a loved one. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're seeing messages from the birds. Aw, thank you. I love that. Thank you. Right? You see numbers. Some people see numbers over and over. Those are messages, right? Those are messages from your helpers. You're never alone. You're loved. First by you and your angel inside of you, that accesses you through your belly, your own angel. Right? Who's here to love you through all experiences, just like your heart's here to love you through all experiences. You're embedded in nature. You're being hugged by nature. You're never alone. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and we're opening to receive for best and highest well-being. With the most ultimate of love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this and breathe. And Source God Mother, please immediately evolute our systems for best and highest well-being of the systems within us and the systems around us, including those frequencies of our feet. And as you evolute those frequencies of our feet, so that as we ground down to our feet, to the insides of our feet, we have everything that we need to calm and soothe and heal and be present to ourselves. Right? Please also root me into this universe and into the multiverses, so that I can receive that life force frequency, that knowledge, wisdom, healing codes of nature, and exchange my own. And I clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and I'm opening to receive for best and highest well-being. With love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this and breathe. So I just want to suggest as well that when I'm doing these releases, if there's other things that are coming up for you, you throw them into the releases, because that's what I do with clients. I say, whatever comes up inside of you is what you're meant to release. Release whatever's coming up for you. Use that space of releasing to throw other stuff in there if you have other stuff. It's a great thing to do. I oftentimes watch card readers. I love card readers. They're psychics, and what they're doing is they're holding psychic space. They're holding that space between them and the God source as they're channeling the information. And that space, when I hold that space, I'm not even listening to them sometimes. I'm holding that space and finding my own answers. So just being around someone else holding that space sometimes can help us to find our own answers, our own information. This is where I'll get visions sometimes, because I'm semi-listening. I'm present in that space of high frequency, and that allows me to access mine even more and relax into mine. And the other thing that we do when we listen to healers and people who have gifts is we access their gifts inside of us. So it's an exchange of gifts. So if you're open to it, you can actually begin to have the gift yourself just by giving yourself permission to access the gifts in you, just by being stimulated by that other person. So that person has the code of that gift, and just being near them or listening to them or relating with them or connecting into them, it gives you access to some of yours by accessing that code that they're sharing. And that is awesome. That's an amazing, awesome gift of this universe. And when you start to know that it's a possibility, you start to really try to access that gift. I do all the time. And I'm always like, oh my God, if they have a gift, then I can be around them and I can possibly open that gift inside myself as well, if I'm ready to, and if the universe is ready for that. So if it's part of the unfolding, it'll happen. So yeah. So that's a lot of information. Sometimes after we do these releases, people are going to feel lightheaded. So if you're lightheaded, please ground me to my feet. You just ask your higher self, ground me to my feet, trigger my vagus nerve now. We should bring that flush. Ooh, I just did it even just now. Brings that flush of comfort and calm. That's the feminine nerve in the body, and it brings you a rush of oxytocin, comfort, calm, the mothering energy. So that's another technique and another tool that you can use when you need it. So I'm just going to love you and leave you. Please comment. How did this go for you? What did you take from this information? Please practice it. Practice, practice, practice. Things don't happen overnight. You've been programmed this way for your whole lifetime. It's going to take some practice to unprogram it. And the more you practice, the more it unprograms. So practice, practice, practice. And in the practicing, let me know. How does it go? Is it working? Do you love it? Is it, and what else do you want to hear about? Is there something I touched on that you would like to know more about? Yeah, so that's about it for me. I love you and leave you. I hope you all have a beautiful day, beautiful week, and you take care.